It's going to cost South Carolina hundreds of millions of dollars to fix roads, bridges, and dams after the massive flooding last month.
How much will it cost? Where will that money come from? How long will the repairs take, especially when our roads and our bridges already needed billions of dollars more spent on them? Robert Kittle's been looking into these important questions, and he has answers in this 7 News special report.
What floodwaters did to South Carolina roads, bridges, and dams was devastating. The price tag could be too. But right now, state officials say they have no idea what that cost will be. State DOT Secretary Christy Hall told the DOT Commission,
I'm expecting that it's probably going to be Thanksgiving or later before I'm able to come before you with a number.
Right after the floods, the Department of Transportation says there were 541 roads and bridges closed. Most of those have now been reopened. The DOT has a list on its website of which roads and bridges are closed and when they'll reopen. 59 of them are not expected to reopen until after Thanksgiving. Bluff Road in Richland County isn't expected to reopen until next spring because this bridge needs to be replaced. The anticipated opening dates of many roads, like this one, are just listed as undetermined. The DOT says federal highway emergency relief money will repair roads and bridges in the federal aid system, but the state will have to come up with matching funds in some cases, and will have to come up with state money for roads and bridges that don't qualify for federal aid. A group of mayors is calling on lawmakers to raise the gas tax to pay for the repairs, since the DOT already needed about $1.5 billion more a year to bring roads up to good condition. The DOT says the road damage was not caused or made worse by our roads already being in poor condition when the flooding happened.
We couldn't prepare for this. We would not build to a standard that could withstand a 1,000-year flood.
Some of that road and bridge damage was caused by dams that failed.
It would have to be higher, a little bit higher than that, because when you opened the door, it was just flooding in to our house.
Elizabeth Powers was one of the thousands of people whose homes were flooded. She lives near Lake Catherine in Columbia, downstream from one of the dams that failed.
It never occurred to me to worry about it. I just assumed we were all safe. My mistake.
The Department of Health and Environmental Control regulates and inspects dams. It says 36 dams failed statewide, almost half of them in Richland County. A study by engineers from Clemson and Georgia Tech says many of the dams were deficient when the floods came. And the state's inspection program has been criticized. The budget for inspecting dams was $260,000 last year, only about 1/10 of what North Carolina spent. We wanted to talk to DHEC with questions like why its budget for inspecting dams is so low, how often they're inspected, and what changes they might make because so many dams failed during the recent flooding. A spokesman said they didn't have anybody who could talk to us on camera, but they did answer our questions in writing. DHEC says it has partnered with an international engineering firm to do a comprehensive review of the state's dam safety program and will work with state lawmakers to make any needed improvements.
I hope when they build back and repair them, they will do a much more sturdy project there. I hope this will never happen ever to anyone again.
In Columbia, Robert Kittle, 7 News.
One of the dams that failed that is not privately owned is on Fort Jackson, so the federal government will be responsible for that one. The other is owned by the town of Lexington, and DHEC is now asking for a big budget increase next year to double the number of inspectors for dams and to increase the number of inspections.